Hello, welcome to my IOH talk. First of all, I would like to thank 爱台湾且愿意尽最大力量帮助台湾年轻人的何贝贝以及他所说的一句话：年轻朋友，不要任由你的未来以他的方式到来。听完本段演讲，深度思考，规划你的人生蓝图。This is the table of contents and it summarizes what I'm going to talk about in this video. So let me introduce myself first. I'm Judy, and I'm currently studying in Heriot-Watt University. And my course name is Actuarial Science and Diploma in Industrial Training. I am a Taiwanese girl who is currently studying in Edinburgh and used to studying in York, Singapore, and Taiwan. So you may wonder, why did I go abroad? There are two reasons. First of all, I could not really fit into Taiwanese education system. And the second reason is I would like to learn how to think critically and independently. I was studying in Taichung市惠文高中国中部 before I left Taiwan. Afterwards, I went to Singapore in 2011 and I studied ordinary level in the government school called Loyang Secondary School. In 2013, I went to York and studied in Queen Ethelberga's College. Last September, I decided to pursue actuarial science in Heriot-Watt University. The talk today will be about my freshest year as a second-year direct entrant who also receives Max Overseas Scholarship. Let me talk about my school first. My school is in Edinburgh, the capital of Scotland. Talking about Scotland, what do you think about? For me, it is kilt. Men here wear a skirt called kilt. That's so cool. That was actually my first thought. Edinburgh is a very historical city, but at the same time, it has its modern sense. Edinburgh is divided into Old Town and New Town. Let's talk about the weather. Well, the weather in the United Kingdom is just horrible. I have nothing else to say, but it's just horrible. We have strong winds and heavy rain, and let's be more specific. Let's be more specific. The level of wind and rain is probably similar to typhoon in Taiwan. And there are a lot of coffee shops in Edinburgh, and I would say the frequency of the number of coffee shops is probably similar to the density of 7-Eleven in Taiwan. And we have the famous Scottish dish is called haggis. It is made of sheep's pluck. If you dare not eat sheep or pluck, you can always try the vegetarian one. And personally, I recommend that more. Well, there is a myth about how bad British food is. And I will say, that's just not true for me, because from that picture, from that picture, it looks pretty delicious, and we even have Jamie Oliver, right? So let's talk about Heriot-Watt. Heriot-Watt is ranked 34th in the Complete University Guide, and we have campus in Edinburgh, Dubai, and Malaysia. If I need to give you one reason to choose Heriot-Watt, and then it will be the strong teaching crew and how caring they are. Whenever you need. So basically, the lecturers in Heriot-Watt are very caring. And whenever you need something, you just ask them. They will be more than happy to help you. This is a photo of the lecture room, and from this photo, you can actually see the diversity of students. This is another picture of campus, and I do understand that this picture looked a little bit like a forest, but no, it is actually the backyard of the library. Sometimes when I'm sick of library, I just change a field and come by the lake and study with some of my friends. And when we get hungry, we just make it a picnic. And this is another picture of the lake. Heriot-Watt is famous for 5 courses: actuarial science, brewing, petroleum engineering, and chemical engineering. And accommodation. This photo is my accommodation last year, and it was called Christina Miller. Personally, I enjoyed this room a lot because it gave me a lot of space for storage. Department. My course is under the School of Mathematics, Actuarial, and Computer Science, and my course is called Actuarial Science and Diploma in Industrial Training. So what is actuarial science? From Wikipedia, it is the discipline that applies mathematical and statistical methods to assess risk. So what is the difference between actuaries and accountants? Before an event happens, actuaries will assess the risk and try to minimize it. But after an event, accountants will record down all financial activities and use them to make financial decisions. So why did I choose actuarial science as my career or as my course? I was a fan of mathematics. And I do agree with Galileo that mathematics is a language of science. Moreover, I enjoy the idea of supply and demand in A-level economics. And last but not least, in my 6th year of studying, I realized that how important travel risk is. And if I could minimize it, it actually helped me a lot. It will actually help me a lot in my entire life. Therefore, I decided to choose a combination of 3, which is actuarial science. So why did I choose to study actuarial science in Heriot-Watt University? In 1972, Heriot-Watt started to provide the course actuarial science, and it had become the first university providing actuarial science. And also, Heriot-Watt University actually provides actuarial science with diploma in industrial training, which means they gave you a placement year to go out and do some work and then do some internship and then come back. The course structure. There are 3 different courses. There are 3 different courses in actuarial science. Actuarial science, of course, and mathematics, statistics, actuarial science, and we call it MSAS, and actuarial science and diploma in industrial training, which is my course. So despite studying in Edinburgh, you can also exchange to Malaysia campus or do some exchange program to University of Waterloo in Canada or the University of Melbourne in Australia. And PwC, PricewaterhouseCoopers, also come to our university to do some internal recruitment. The teaching style. We have lectures for you to, which is the most frequent one, and we have tutorials, which is to ask questions, and computer labs for R, Excel, and MATLAB, and it's only for some subjects instead of all. Whenever you have computer labs, the projects always come along, and some subjects will have weekly quiz, while some don't, and so is a midterm test. Examination is the most important. I would say it's the most important in the entire course because that determines whether you get the exemptions for actuarial qualification or not. There are some people doing actuarial science because they would like to get the exemptions for becoming an actuaries, and they are CT1 to CT8. On average, you do 2 exemptions every year. The interesting course for me is Probability and Statistics A. And I do know that this course is hard because apparently last year there were more than 50% of students that failed this course. But personally, I enjoyed a lot. Okay, so let me talk about R first. So in the beginning of the year, I hated R after I was introduced to it because I did not know anything about it, and I was like, what on earth is this about? I do not like it, I do not want to learn it, just leave me alone. But after a year, I was forced to do some projects with it and do a quiz with it, like about it. I started to realize that, oh, okay, so this is actually a better way for you to understand how to use computer to construct models, and it actually saved you a lot of time. Tutorials. This lecturer has a very cool way of doing tutorials. First of all, she divided us into different groups, and we had to recommend her a question every single week. And moreover, her tutorials is super tricky. Sometimes you just spend an hour doing her question, like doing her tutorial sheet, or maybe just one question, and then when you realize that, oh, so I can actually do it this way, and then you thought, why did I not think of this in the very beginning? Am I an idiot? But it was fun actually. Then the last part of this section would be the diagram. This lecturer used diagram to analyze mathematical question, which was the first that I have seen, and I found it pretty understandable, and I used that afterwards. So yeah, this is a course I found pretty interesting. Extracurricular activities. I was a founder of Business Idea Generator, and it is a platform for our members to kickstart their business ideas. And we also use and throughout the entire process, we will also learn the pre-entrepreneur skills. In the beginning of the year, we joined a competition called What Ventures, and we won the most innovative idea. Student Actuarial Society. I was a member of career subcommittee, and my job was to find out whether there are some news that worth to be mentioned in order to increase our SAS members' business awareness. I also attended a poster competition related to actuarial history. To be very honest with you, I did not thought that actuarial history would be that fun and interesting. I thought it would just be a very boring, long history, but no, it's actually pretty fun. So next, I joined two Taiwanese student societies. One is ETSS, Edinburgh Taiwanese Student Society, which is a combination of 4 universities in Edinburgh, and that includes University of Edinburgh, Queen Margaret University, Napier University, and Hereward University. So we have monthly academic discussion among all, and this picture is kind of meaningful for me because in 6 years, how do I say it? Well, this picture showed the first time that I had seen so many Taiwanese in my 6-year education journey. My seniors and I created Taiwanese Society this summer, and before that we actually gathered around as well. For example, on the Taiwanese National Day, we celebrated it with the James Watt statue. And we also picnicked by the lake. Christmas dinner, and also like we DIY our we DIY our Chinese New Year food, like Chinese New Year. We DIY the dish. We cook the dishes for ourselves and in order to celebrate Chinese New Year. I am the percussionist in the school orchestra, and we had performed common in the beginning of the academic year, and we also went to watch our conductor's performance in Scottish Chamber Orchestra, and also our choir performance. There are a lot of events in Edinburgh, so and my recommendation for that would be try the best to attend as many as you can. So there are some workshops, social events, and there are even some conferences about like Edinburgh International Asian Conferences, TEDx Hyderabad, or SARS Conference, and etc. My gaining from my freshest year would be time management. So when we can allocate our time freely, how much time should we study, and why do I study? I chose to go abroad on my own, and after 6 years, I'll be able to tell you, study is not just about remember the entire textbook, but it is about learning how to think. It is about learning the logic behind the knowledge, behind the theories. So if that is the case, I guess efficiency is the most important in study. So therefore, what is the meaning behind study? It is learning the logic behind knowledge. Cultural differences. Well, we have 歌仔戏 and they have musical, and when we have Lunar Ghost Month, they have Halloween. So you can see there is a clear cultural difference, but I think there are two more cultural shocks that I would like to mention, and they are definition of politeness. When I was in Taiwan, I was told that politeness means friendliness. But when I came aboard, I started to realize that no, you don't need to be friendly to every single person in the world. You just need to be polite. And afterwards, for friendliness, you only need to do that to your close ones, your friends, and your family. Another thing is education systems. So I'm not saying that going abroad is better. It has its pros and cons. So for example, my Chinese is horrible. So for example, and another example of it would be the thinking structure. In Taiwan, I was told how to do something, but I was never told why did I have to do that, or what the meaning behind my action. So for example, when I was in Taiwan, I was a very curious student, and I always asked, why did you do that? So why did I have to use the Chinese idiom in the sentence? Why can't I use another? Then the teachers would actually just give me the textbook answers, which I was not satisfied with. And then after I asked that question, I usually just receive the poker face of, shut up, don't ask more. It's like, just learn it. And I was so discouraged. But when I went to Singapore, I learned, like my teacher actually just sat there on her desk and said, well, go ahead and do your work. When you have any questions, just ask me. I was so happy because that was the first time when I get to ask why. Then when I came to the United Kingdom, I was told I was even told why I had to learn something. For example, I had a course called Decision Maths in A-levels. And in the very first lesson, my teacher told me, so decision maths is the mathematics that computers use. And the reason why you have to learn it is because if you are doing something to do with computer algorithm, that would be really helpful because that's the logic behind. So from the example, you can actually see the difference in education system, as well as its possible consequences. So in Asia, we know how to do things really well, but when we are asked why we did something, it's often just a very unclear explanation. But in British education system or in British logic, it would be, so they will tell you why I do something first before they even tell you their steps. And then when they are doing their steps, they will say, okay, so the first step, blah, 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 blah. And then they will say, oh, this is and I do this because of blah, 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 blah. So I think there's a clear difference. And yeah, I think I'm not saying the British system is better, but I think a combination would be the best. And the second lesson that I learned is choice. I was facing the decision of choosing London School of Economics or choosing Heriot-Watt University. Personally, I found Heriot-Watt University suits me better, but LSE was one of the best schools in the world, so I was struggling choosing in between. I chose LSE in the beginning as my firm choice, and I put Heriot-Watt as my insurance. Then, just right before my A-level exams, I did not feel certain in the entire process, and just right before my A-level exams, I decided to drop LSE and choose Heriot-Watt University, and I don't regret for making this decision. So if you ask me whether you should go abroad, I can't say no, right? Because it's actually your choice. But I think the attitude is more important. You have to know that when you go abroad, survival of the fittest. You have to fit yourself into the environment in order to survive. No one has the responsibility to help you, unless you ask so. And then another attitude would be work hard and play harder. Get out of your comfort zone and get into your learning zone. After you learn, you will have so much. And of course, I do understand that you will need a lot of courage to go abroad. But if you want something, go and grab it. You will never regret for trying to get it. And I would like to use some quotes to finish my talk. So first one is from Merida, from the Disney movie called Brave. Some say fate is beyond our command, but I know better. Our destiny is within us. You just have to be brave enough to see it. And finally, keep calm and carry on. Thank you.